This is how we trade the DAX in NinjaTrader 8. The top chart is Cobra CT3, which is included with our money management algorithms. Many of you have had this for a long time. Let's take a look at the latest results. Through October the 15th, you see a long winner. So here are the latest results. We're going to improve that with the money management algorithms though, so keep that in mind. This is the DAX futures. Some of those important numbers are the drawdown, 18, 6, 12, 50. We're going to improve that with the money management algorithm. While this number here is not a bad number for a drawdown on the DAX futures, the DAX is a very big contract, and so this drawdown is not really that bad. But we want to improve that, and we will cut that into a third, better than a third in the money management algorithm. We're going to boost the average trade profit from 90 to 158. We'd like to double that. We'd have to get to 180 to double that. We're testing it back to 2013, so we have over 6 years of data. 1,345 trades, 51.52% profitable. And this is a day trade strategy for the DAX. It uses the VIX data, and it buys the dips. It's a long strategy that buys the dips. You see the long trades here, no short trades. So we're going to take a look next at the money management algorithm, which is this chart. This is chart 2. This is chart 1. This is the base strategy. The money management algorithm looks at chart 1. It looks at the trades over here and then makes its trading decisions. And I'm going to explain to you how it does that. So let's get rid of this chart right here, performance summary, and we're going to pull up the performance summary for the money management algorithm. So it's looking at the strategy results here, and it's taking trades based on what it sees and what we tell it to look at. And so here are the results here for the money management algorithm. You see 154, 250, and 154, 325, 972 trades, so there's less trades. The percentage of profitability goes up just a little bit. I'm not as concerned about that, 51 to 54%. And the average trade profit is 158 versus 92. But the big number that we're looking at here is 5650 drawdown. That's an incredibly low number for DAX futures. The base strategy had an $18,000 drawdown, and so you can really manage your risk and really scale in to the DAX futures when your max drawdown is 5650. And so let's look at the equity curve next, and we go to the analysis tab and we scroll this up, and you can see the equity curve. Really like this equity curve, a pretty straight line. You see some occasional drawdowns, but nothing too great. Let's look at the analysis. We can see the annual results. Let's move this back down here. Let's look at the annual results. I'm going to maximize this. See 121 trades in 2019, 17,000 net profit, $140 average trade profit. Really consistent the last few years. This isn't old. The strategy Cobra CT3 DAX is an old strategy we've had over 10 years, and so you see the money management algorithm results are very, very consistent, especially the last few years, which is this is the money management algorithm, but we're just simply using the pinpoint entry on the money management algorithm. I'm going to show you that next, and so you'll see what I'm talking about. So when I right click, you can go to strategies, and when you select on the strategy, you select on this, and I'm going to disable the strategy so we can see it. It's grayed out when you enable it. So when I disable it, you can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to scroll to the top, and you can see all the inputs in the money management algorithm, and you have to select the strategy, Cobra CT3 DAX for NinjaTrader 8. We're using this stop entry. So once we get the criteria that's met, we enter on a stop, the next bar at the close plus 1 point. So you could change this as well. So you could say I'm going to enter in on a stop at the close plus 0, or 1 point, or 2 points, or 3 points, or 4 points, or 5 points. The higher this number, the less trades you will get. So I recommend 1 or 2 points typically on this, depending on the range of the bar and the bar interval. We're using 1-minute bars, and so if you're using 60-minute bars, your stop points could be much greater because there is more range on a 60-minute bar. So we're using the pinpoint entry technique, and what this does is it looks for the close of the bar to be at a loss from the initial position by a certain amount. And so all of these are 0, all of these other inputs are 0, which means we're not using any of these other rules. The only rule we're using is rule 6 because it has a 1 in front of it. 0 means the rule is off, 1 means the rule is on. You can use any combination of rules you want. The more rules you have, the more optimized it would be, and typically the less trades you get because you have more criteria, and so there's less trades. And so I like to keep it simple, use 1, 2, 3 rules maybe, and so we're looking for the strategy to be down 100 bucks. How many times have you gotten in a trade, you develop a system, you get in a trade, and it always goes against you a little bit, and so you want to test this setup to see, test any setup you see. The money management algorithms can help you say, can I get a better entry price? And so sometimes it's hard to reprogram your strategy just to get a better entry price, because if the criteria is met, then you have to program to say, okay, keep track of the entry price and then get in at a better price later. And that's not easy to program. And so this pinpoint entry loss, it's a positive number, but it represents a loss, a dollar value loss per contract. So $100 per contract, you're down $100 per contract. And so not much in the DAX. There's a lot of wiggle in the DAX. It's not $100, it's 100 euros because the DAX trades in euros. And so you're down 100 euros in the DAX on a closed bar basis. So for example, you get in at 10 o'clock and your price is, say, 12,250, and you're down 100 euros at 10.15, the closed bar basis. You're sitting down 100 euros. Then you're going to come back up here and you're going to enter on the next bar at the close of the current bar on a stop plus 1 point. Once the criteria is met, your entry technique is used, and the only criteria that is required is to be down $100 on a closed bar basis on the trade. And so once you're down $100, so a big winner may not ever go against you, so you might miss some big winners. That's the bias in having this strategy to test with. And so there's other parameters, all these other parameters. Rule 1 moving average L1, Rule 1 moving average L2. That's only effective if this is set to 1. If it's not set to 1, then it ignores all these other inputs. These are inputs for the rules. And so Rule 6, there's only one input, and that's the amount of loss. Say Rule 2 uses the ADX of the equity curve, the length and the threshold, 14 and 25. It's ignored. So this may look like you have, wow, this has so many parameters, it's optimized. Only if you use them all are a lot of parameters being used. In this case, not a lot of parameters are being used. So you're in a scenario here where you can turn rules off and on, and we only have one on, pinpoint entry, and it uses a $100 loss, and then once it's at that $100 loss, it enters in a stop at the close plus 1. And the other inputs in this, we do use a max daily entry of 1. It trades between 9:30 and 15:30. This is based on Eastern Standard Time. It exits 1 minute before the DAX closes. The DAX closes at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It does not trade an additional 15 minutes like the futures, like the U.S. futures, E-mini S&Ps. So it closes 15 minutes before those. It is, I believe, 10 o'clock at night over there when that occurs. And so they go ahead and close it at 4 p.m. when the stock market closes. Uses a 1,000 euro stop loss, and so can't be afraid of using a larger stop loss in the DAX 1,000 euros is not much. And so, let's see what else. That's it really. The debug, you don't have to worry about that. That's for programming. You enable it and you set it up with these other basic standard parameters, and that's the setup. That's the setup that you use when, if you want to trade the DAX in NinjaTrader 8, you can get this from the Money Management Algorithm section of the website, and I will show you that. If you go to the website, you go to Money Management Algorithms, TradeStation and Multicharts version, and you can read more about the Money Management Algorithms and how that works. And DAX Cobra CT2 or DAX Cobra CT3 is included, open code, as well as the Money Management Algorithm. So it's a great opportunity if you want to trade the DAX. This is one way you can do it. It's a very good strategy. It's been around a very long time, so it has a long track record as far as out of sample results. I don't trade all systems all the time, and this is one of my favorite strategies if you want to trade the DAX.